Hello and welcome to this video. I will talk about making fire by friction today. My name is Alexander Ravenna, and making fire by friction like this I've done for over 20 years now, and I find it beautiful, and it's a lot of fun to be able to make the original fire, to learning how to do it, learn what kind of materials that is working, and then learning actually the right technique to do it as effortlessly as possible. So this video is just for you guys to see how the way I do it. Many people are doing it, and you can see a lot of it on the YouTube channels and so forth. And there are different materials that are used. And but I'm living in the southern parts of Sweden, and I'm using the materials that I have around here for those parts. So let's dive into it. It's of course only natural materials, and we have the tools beside me here. And let's see, what is friction? Yeah, maybe we should start there. Friction is when you are grinding two pieces against one another and you're creating heat. Now when I do it with my hands here, it's not much heat, but the faster I go, the warmer it will become. So that is what is happening with friction. But we're not going to do it with our hands, of course. We're going to do it with these tools. We are basically using only wood to create fire. So I will talk about these tools one at a time, and I will start with the fireboard. This is a part that is to the ground that we are gonna drill into, and we're gonna use a drill like this, and we're gonna put it here. We're gonna make a marker here, and we're gonna basically just drill into this board with this drill. But we can't do it with our hands only. So we're gonna need some help, and we're gonna use this fire bow. But let's get back to the fireboard. It's a piece of wood. It's not any type of wood we're using. You can use many, but the thing that mostly people are using, you want a soft wood. Lime tree, hazel, alder, willow. There's many types of woods that you can use. So this fireboard that I am using, that I come to use a lot now, recent years, is poplar. And it's a very light wood. It's a very porous, and it works really well. So this is what I'm going to show you using today when I show you the making fire here. So poplar is a soft wood, all right? It's a fireboard. Now we take the fire drill, and this is made of hazel, another wood that is pretty soft. And hazel is amazing. As you know, it's already growing straight, so it's quite easy to find pieces of drills to use. And I like to use these ones with the thickness of about 20 millimeters. Works quite well. And why are they supposed to be soft? Yeah, it's because when you're grinding the two pieces of wood together, you are wearing down the wood, and you are creating a powder. And it's in this powder you're creating that the ember, the first start of the fire, is going off. So you need the power. If you would use, for example, 2 pieces of oak, you have an oak board, a fireboard from oak and a drill from oak, you can't get any friction. They will just glance off one another. And it's very important that they really grab into one another and really creates a lot of friction. And by creating a lot of friction, you're creating a lot of powder. You will see that later here. So again, a piece of hazelwood is excellent to use. And why does it have this form? It's this part here is going down into the fireboard, and this part here is thinner, kind of pointy. This is the upper part. And now I'm going to show you we need a handle also. So I use a piece of handle made of stone. This is a soft stone that is called slate. And you can drill in this piece of stone or slate quite easily. So you can create a hollow part here, and this is where the pointy part of the bow drill is going. It's going basically in here. It's going to stick like this, and we're going to use the handle like this. So when we're drilling here, we are creating friction down here in the fireboard, but we are also creating friction up here in the handle. But we don't really want the friction up here. We want the friction down here, so that's why we are making it pointy. So it will be a less as possible friction up here. So another way to making that work well, even better, not to have the friction, is we're going to use some lard from the red deer. I have it in this snail shell. We just put some lard, fat, whatever you have, butter, you can use oil. And you just put it on the point, and you put it in there, and it will create a very slippery connection there. So that's really perfect. So it will drill effortlessly and without the friction. All right, so we have the fire drill, the fireboard, and we have the handle made from stone or slate, to be correct. And then we use, to make things going, we're gonna need a fire bow, because we're gonna put the drill inside like this, connect it like this. When we pull the bow back and forth, it will make the drill. So you will see that later on. And this is a special, kind of special also. Many people use different styles here. I like to use this piece of wood. You can use basically anything for this. And I like to make them a little bit bent like this. Actually, much of a normal bow, you shoot with a bow and arrow. And I want a little bit of flexibility in it, because that will help with the tension on the string, to keep the tension on the string. When you use a rigid piece of wood, that is much harder to get it to adjust it to the bow drill really perfectly. But if you have a slight of elasticity into this, that will help a lot. Then we have the string here. The string here we're using is rawhide from red deer, and it's a quite broad piece. I used to do it with strings before, but the strings, they don't grip that well. You need a lot of grip onto. When you start doing fire like this, you're gonna recognize it pretty soon that it can get slippery around the drill here. So it's very important that you have a really good grip on the drill, so it doesn't slip, because that will get you in trouble, and it will make you very difficult to make the to get the drill going and get the heat and get the friction going. So I like to use a quite broad piece of rawhide, just as I said, for the grip. And you put in the drill. You want the drill to go on the outside. That is really important. If you have it on the inside, it will be probably will work, but it's much more difficult. You would like to have it on the outside. All right. So let's see. We have the fireboard, the fire drill, and the fire bow, and the handle. And then we have the tinder, or the fireball, what you would like to call it. And here you can have many kind of materials. I used for many years juniper bark. The inside of the juniper bark is really good, but it's quite hard to find the really good quality of juniper bark. But one thing that is quite easy to find is the flowers from reed. The reed flowers, they're growing basically everywhere. And I found out that they work really well for the tinder, fireball, and this is where it's all happening here. This is what we're gonna put on the ground, and the powder I was talking about before, the powder is going inside here. And the start of the fire is not actually fire, it's an ember. You create the powder, and then you create a lot of heat, and from the heat suddenly there will be little bits of ember. When we have the ember here, we need to help it start to burn. So we need to blow on it, or give it more oxygen, because the ember is not going to start burning by itself. So you need to blow quite a bit on it. But you will see that when we get there, how it works. So that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to put it here. All right, you guys, let's get to it. Let's get some fire going here. And now we're going to make, we need to make the fire drill to go into the fire board. And there is no place for the drill to go, so we're going to help it out to make a depression in the fireboard, so you can start to get some grip for the drill there. So normally what I would do, put the drill parallel to the edge of the fireboard, and I get the middle of the fire drill like this. I let go, and now I just take up a little piece of wood here. And this is where the drill is going to go. So we are just preparing here for the drill to make its work. So there we go. And now we put drill into the bow. It's really important here that you have some tension on the string. As you can see, I just have to really pull it hard to get it in position. Because otherwise, if you don't have the tension on the string, you won't get a really good grip, and it will just slip on the drill. So let's see here. We have some deer fat on the pointy part. We have the handle. So let's go and try to create some grip for the fire. Let's see. So I'm just gonna go a little bit. It feels like it's staying there. Feels good. Just going a little bit more. All right. Looks good. Okay, so now we stop drilling now. And now we need to make the notch. We're gonna make a notch here, because in the notch we're going to gather up all the powder that's going to be created from the friction. Do it like this. The notch is going into the center of the hole there. We're aiming for that. Let's see. A little bit more. Looks pretty good there. So now you can see we have created the notch here into the center. Now, because what's going to happen, we're going to grind the drill into the board, and we're going to create the powder, and we want the powder to be in this area. So the ember will start here. We will have the most of the powder here. It will be easier to get the ember going as we have all the powder gathered in one place. So let's do this now. So this is a main drilling part, and we're gonna need the reed flowers. This is where the fire is going to happen. And we put the board on top of that. Let's see really carefully to have enough space here in the notch, because you don't want a lot of reed flowers sticking up there. So let's go and see what happens. Put the drill in place, put the handle in place. And now one thing that is really important, that when you pull the bow like this back and forth, your hand, you need some strength for it, because you don't want the hand if you just hold like this, it will wobble all over the place. So you're going to use your lower leg, your chin, as a support for your hand. You're going to push your underarm to the chin here, have it really tight, so that will help a lot with the strength of your handle. Just stay 90 degrees on top of the fireboard. And you need to have a good balance here with your body. And now we have a good grip, and just here we go. So it's starting to grip really well. All right. All the powder didn't go into one place, but just stretch it down there. Put it together carefully. There we go. So we create a fire. A beautiful way to create the original fire. And so guys, thanks for watching. Bye bye.